promised conquest. There is only one choice. Drink.
The Fel Horde of Outland was created when Kil'jaeden the Deceiver persuaded Ner'zhul to accept demonic powers in exchange for territorial expansion and dominance over Draenor. Consequently, the Fel Orcs slaughtered most of the Draenei and constructed two major fortresses on the planet. Hellfire Citadel served as a staging point for assaults on Azeroth, while the Black Temple served as a hub of demonic activity. The Burning Legion directed the Fel Horde to destroy all human nations and the world. The Dark Portal opens to the southeastern kingdoms, which is guarded by the Arathorn Kingdom and their allies, the Dwarves. The Fel Horde of Outland has assimilated the Blackrock Orcs into their army in anticipation of their invasion. Okay, so hi, hello, and holy crap everyone. By now, I'm sure that most of you are probably through watching a good chunk of my Teal livecasts that have been coming out recently. And I'll tell you what, I had a lot of fun with this race. You're going to see, let's call it improvement, as time goes on. But nonetheless, this is an extremely versatile race that I merely just do not have the APM at the moment. And again, like I said, there's progress. And I have a Dark Soulsian relationship with this race right now where I played the first game and I got lucky. And then I got to the mid-game, and then I just got crushed, and I felt like crap. And then I realized I had the easy early game. And here's the thing, I kept kind of having easy early games, to be perfectly honest. And the ones that I didn't have early games, I did make it to late. Well, I'll let you watch. Anyway, but I had a really good time. So now we're gonna go ahead and delve into this race and talk about what I learned. I'll do a brief overview of certain things. We're going to have an expanded version of what we saw with Yellow, hopefully with some more bells and whistles on it, some more categories, a little bit more polish. So I hope you enjoy this video, because I'm honestly really excited to start getting it. So let's go ahead and start with the first category.
I remember the armies of demons that swept down on us like a plague. During these dark times, the one called Magtheridon made the temple his home.
The Fel Horde begins divided into two groups, the Fel Horde in Draenor, and the Dark Horde of Blackrock Mountain. I would like to clarify that I believe there is a third distinction to be made between Hellfire Citadel and the Black Temple as well. Due to certain pathing and building placement issues, it's possible to lose units while queuing them up to leave Outland. Be wary of this. Teal possesses a powerful starting army, unmatched offensive capabilities, access to tons of creep money in the form of Outland, and initial early exclusive access to the control points therein. However, on the downside, Magtheridon can be lost permanently. You must fight two players simultaneously, and suffer a startling weakness to being dispelled. In addition, Teal's demon-spawning portals in Outland will be permanently disabled upon their destruction.
Magtheridon lures scores of hapless demons through them daily.
Then we must seal them permanently.
Hey everybody, now we get a chance to take a look at Teal's army. We'll start off with the heroes. Beginning with Kargath Bladefist. It's a strong hero, strength-based, very tanky. His abilities consist of a Howl that will increase his and nearby allied units' health regeneration, a Grasping Fist ability, which will lock down and damage a unit or hero temporarily, reduce time on heroes, of course, and a Cleaving Attack, which at full level is capable of doing 40% damage. His ultimate will give him 600, 1200, and 1800 health at each of those levels. He's a beast. Like I said, guys, Kargath is extremely powerful, and it used to be that his ultimate would buff his it would buff his strength, and it made him an extremely powerful hero because then he also had that damage added on as well. Moving on to Rend, an agility-based hero, your basic Blade Master character. He has a single damage dealing attack. It will also slow the opponent's attack and speed and movement speed. He has a whirlwind ability, a activatable wind walk, which is not tied to any of his abilities, but does, however, have a very short duration, but low cooldown and low mana cost. As I said, he has a whirlwind and an aura that will increase nearby allies' attack speed. His ultimate creates clones of himself which do damage but also take increased damage as well. Finally, we have Magtheridon, at least for your base heroes before tier choices come in. Magtheridon, he's your main guy, guys. He's your baby. You gotta take care of him. You gotta coddle him. But he's gonna help you coddle him. He likes to coddle himself. So his abilities consist of an extremely powerful AoE Frost Nova-like ability, but using fire, slows enemy units. A Howl, which will reduce the damage output of all nearby enemy units, maxing out at 70%. A built-in Cleave, and his final ability is a Thorns-like bonus armor, which will not only give him bonus armor, but return a certain percentage of damage. His ultimate is a Rain of Fire, much like a Starfall ability. And, guys, this is another one. Teal, as I said, is very much a ticking time bomb as his upgrades, heroes, get wildly out of control later on in the game with chaos damage. Really not giving a damn about armor types. Now we'll move on to your basic units. Start off with the demon summons, as these are not actually buildable or really determinable by you, but are rather randomly spawned. We have a Fellhound, a mana drain ability. The Succubus with a Shadow Strike ability. The Felguard, standard melee with more armor than your Grunt, but a similar charge ability. The Felguard Champion with a cleave attack, damage reduction, and a roar ability to increase the damage of nearby units. Finally, the Infernal, which has your typical immolation ability. These guys can break lines if utilized in the correct positions. Moving on to your standard units that you can produce from structures. We'll start off with the barracks units. The Grunt is your standard frontline unit with a charge ability, self-activated Bloodlust, and can gain the benefit of plus 100 health and plus 3 damage from an upgrade in the barracks. Next, you have your Orc Cavalry. These also have a charge, pillage, and can benefit from the upgrade, but have the additional ability of inflicting cleaving damage. They cost slightly more, but make up for it with increased health and increased damage. The Troll is your basic early game ranged unit with piercing damage, low health. It's rare that you will utilize these in great numbers unless you've chosen to pick the accompanying mastery. Catapults are invaluable. The Burning Oil ability can easily cause enemy caster groups to run away. And just the concentrated fire of that many siege engines is something that no army can afford to ignore. Next we have your Spirit Lodge units, beginning with the Necrolite. Its ability to raise dead is extremely powerful and can result in an almost permanent presence in long, protracted battles. Frenzy and Cripple respectively will increase the speed of your army and reduce the speed of your opponent. A slightly more offensively minded caster is the Warlock, starting off with the Firebolt ability and moving on with Devour Magic, and later on Unholy Aura. The Eredar Warlock is often considered to be Teal's demi-caster. It has a Stasis Trap, which can be used to zone your opponents and or cover retreats. A Rain of Fire, which can be used to inflict heavy damage in situations where your opponent either won't or you believe they will not retreat. And a Mass Bloodlust, which can be used after the initial Bloodlust wears off on your units to further increase their attack and movement speed by 30%. We'll discuss the Spirestone Ogres, which you will receive should you choose the Spirestone Mastery at Tier 3. This will replace your Eredar Warlock with a Spirestone Ogre, which can cast a Health Drain, a Devour Magic, and finally an AoE healing ability, which will heal for 120 damage to all nearby allied units, however inflicting 40 damage on the ogre itself. Ogres can heal each other, so this shouldn't be too much of a problem. Moving on to the bestiary units, we have the Raider. Somewhat of an analogous to the Grunt and Cavalry, only with medium armor and the ability to cast a net, which can trap enemies long enough to kill them. It's going to be very important in the early game where dark green and yellow will harass you. You can lock down those units and make sure that they suffer the casualties instead of you. The Drakes increase in power from Whelp to Drake. Should you choose the Zula Head Mastery at Tier 3, these Drakes will become Netherwing Drakes, increasing in speed and damage as well. And this brings us to Teal's elite unit, the Fell Blademaster. With Windwalk, Critical Strike, Whirlwind, slight spell immunity, this is basically an assassin unit. Used correctly, it can disrupt backlines and or take out valuable heroes before your opponent can possibly notice what's going on. However, the real downside to this unit is the time that it takes to get a full 6 built and the investment of gold as well, a full 3,600. I'm sorry, that's wrong. 360. But you get my point. It's difficult to find the time to do this and the safe place to do so. But if you can, it's an invaluable tool to have in your army and can really swing the battle in your favor. Should you choose the Tier 2 Shattered Hand Mastery, these will become Shattered Hand Executioners. These units possess a Stomp ability which will slow enemy attack and movement speed, an increase in cleave damage, the ability to gain a health drain aura, and a number of defensive damage reduction abilities. This basically gives you a powerful front line rather than your assassins, and it's up to you whether or not you choose this choice.
I will forge you into an unstoppable weapon. You will be the scourge of 100 worlds.
Teal has several powerful masteries, and ultimately what you decide will depend on your playstyle. But let's examine them. In our first tier, we have two choices. The first is the Enhanced Troll Empowerment, which replaces the Forest Troll Axe Thrower with Berserkers, increasing their HP by 100 and range by 150, increasing their base damage, and gives them a critical strike ability. Or, perhaps, the Dark Magic Experimentation is for you, which reduces the health drain of the Unholy Frenzy ability to 1 damage per second instead of 4, and removes the health debuff from Unholy Armor. This is a favorite of many players.
Something you're doing?
At Tier 2, we face the choice between Demonic Reinforcements, allowing us to build a Demon Gateway, which will summon 3 demons every 30 seconds, summoning a total of 50 demons. If you pick the correct mastery later on, this can be doubled.
Our town is under attack.
Or you can choose the Shattered Hand Executioners, which will replace Burning Blade Masters with Shattered Hand Executioners, with the abilities Executioner's Calling, Bloodlust, Tenacity, and Heavy Plating. At Tier 3, you finally gain access to your 4th hero. Whether you choose between the Dark Horde Reforming, which will give you Grim Batol, and Zulahead the Whacked as a hero, give you the Demi Neltharaco, a flying Netherwing Drake. It will allow you to train Netherwing Drakes instead of Black Drakes, and all Nether Drakes gain 15% increased movement speed. If, however, you choose the Spirestone Alliance, you will gain Urok Doomhow as a hero. This will give you High Lord Omok as a demi-hero, and allows you to train Spirestone Ogre Magi instead of Eredar Warlocks. Teal's events are as follows. Should he destroy Stormwind and Ironforge, Magtheridon will become revivable. Through tier choices, he can gain a Shattered Hand Executioners in exchange for Blade Masters and an extra hero and demi-hero, either Zulahead the Whacked and Neltharaco, or Urok Doomhow and High Lord Omok, as we just discussed. In the Northern Kingdoms, if Teal should destroy Gilneas, he will gain 800 gold, and Kargath will gain 15 into all stats. And finally, we'll take a look at Teal's Masteries. First up is the Demonic Mastery, which further improves the demonic forces of the Fel Horde, improving all demon units' attacks by 10%, damage by 5, health by 10%, and HP regeneration by 1. And, in addition, will double the maximum amount of demonic forces if demonic reinforcement tier is chosen. Fellblood Mastery increases the health regeneration of all units by 3, allows you to build a defiled fountain of life, gives Kargath a life-stealing aura, and give warlocks the ability to drain life from enemies. Fel Strength Mastery gives a 10% increased attack speed bonus and a 15% health bonus to all Fel Orc units. This upgrade also increases the effectiveness of the Charge and Bloodlust ability. And now that we're done with the statistics nonsense, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this, which was the experience of playing this. So I'm bad. I'm bad at Teal. I'm real bad at Teal. And the problem with me is that I really like to be passive. And I really like to fight in choke points, except for Teal, that's terrible. Fighting in choke points is awful. I like to funnel all of my enemies into one area, whereas with Teal, you ideally like to keep them as spread out as possible. There are certain situations where you're going to want to lure them into a trap. There are times when that is useful. However, being able to tell the difference between when to charge and when to buy, let's say, 6 Eridar Warlocks or 6 Burning Blade Masters, it can make all the difference in the game, because the truth is the Eridar Warlocks might be able to hold the base for you, but the Burning Blade Masters, they're going to be able to hero target that hero, and then they're going to get in the lines of those mortar teams and mess them up, or they're going to whirlwind in the priests and ruin their day. It's just... Or potentially they could get really stupid and force their way into your base where you have stasis wards down, and you drop a Rain of Fire and a Mass Bloodlust, and then you just go bananas on them, and it's really, really good. There's so many potential strategies with Teal that I can't even go over them all, but I'm going to try to talk about some of them right now. So Teal has Fel damage, which is awesome. We've talked about that before, which means that no matter what kind of armor he's attacking, he's doing 100% damage, whether it be a building, a unit, or just the terrain, or your face, or your sanity. It's doing equal damage, which is kind of useful because you don't really have to worry about what type of units they're throwing at you, except in the context of what type of armor do I throw at them. You don't have to match your attack type against their armor type, which is just one level of complication removed, which is nice for a race which already has so much that you have to pay attention to. I think that was kind of encouraged to just mob it up, just say, okay, that's what you got, well, here's a bunch of crap, and it's all in a group, and it's just going to work together, and then, not have to make sure that blank is attacking blank. It's like, if blank, whatever's attacking whatever, it's going to do a lot of damage. Generally. There is some difference because of hero attack, and some of your casters do magic damage. But in general, I think that theory holds true for Teal. So, my first game. We talked about this. I lost it terribly, and I realized that it was due to just not using Eridar Warlocks. These are the heart and soul of your army, as far as I'm able to tell right now, to my comfort level at least. A lot of you will choose Burning Blade Masters, and again, I think that they can be far more effective in certain situations. But for the defensive structure that I was trying to go for with an early game caster build that involved getting the mastery that increases your Warlocks Unholy Armor. Oh, sorry, it benefits it in this way. It makes it so that Unholy Armor no longer takes away the health on units that gain the plus 12 armor. And as you can imagine, that's kind of awesome. I mean, that is thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of health given back in a Teal army because of all of the skeletons that are on there. Seriously, it's possible to have this wall of reanimated skeletons, half of whom are grunts, which are also doing like bash and pillage and charge. Oh, they're so good. Sorry, I had some situations where I just held against unbelievable odds in the right choke points, where it was like, okay, now this is good. I feel like if I can get to a place where I can get Blackrock out of the game early enough in a beneficial way for me, and then move it back all the way into Outland and just hold there. The only problem there is the Outland portal control nexus, which is it was added to stop people like me who are just turtle monkeys. They just go looking for turtles. Oh man, I gotta scratch that itch. I love a good turtle. The unfortunate thing is that it's no longer encouraged. But I gotta say this: Black Temple holds like a beast. That is one of the most pleasant and fun places to hold if you retreat soon enough. Remember this, guys, don't lose everything in Hellfire Citadel, because I've done that a few times and it didn't turn out well, because they'll chase you. If they're smart, they will chase you, because they know that the real difficult fight only happens at Black Temple if you're able to block the bridge. Once you get enough units to block that bridge reliably, that becomes an actual fight. However, as long as they can stream in and break those generators, your game ends pretty quickly. So if you're hoping to build a shop and teleport out, make sure that you retreat with enough units from Hellfire Citadel so that you don't wind up in the same situation I did. By the way, that caster mastery also makes it so that you don't... Sorry, Frenzy only takes away 1 health per second. Yeah, that was pretty good. See, because you've already got Bloodlust, and then you got Frenzy, and then you got Charge, and when that all kind of coalesces together, you can really start to chew through stuff. I did some aims with some stuff, and it was ugly, but it felt real good. And on top of that, Warlocks, remember, they have Fireball. Your Necrolytes, they have Cripple, they have Raise Dead. They have that beautiful, beautiful Frenzy spell. Like I say, if you can cast that on a group of Blade Masters, invis them, and then surround a hero, it's just pretty much done before it starts. It's pretty great. And if you throw a Bloodlust, a mass Bloodlust on top of that from an Eridar Warlock right before they go, ha, it's like a blender. Again, I didn't win a lot, but I did a lot of fun, and I think that was the cool thing about the race, was that that's why I had the Dark Souls feel to it, is I always thought that losing was terrible. And now I'm just going, okay, well, obviously I'm the one who's not, you know what I mean? It's like the tools are there. I'm lacking. The tools are freaking... Guys, there's so many tools here. So many good tools. Oh, okay. I think we might be done with this informal part of it. But just remember, it's extremely difficult to keep yellow and dark green apart. And to maintain Blackrock as a base, you're going to need Eridar Warlocks to do that in some way. And I also suggest making sure that you have catapults in whatever army that you're going to fight, because they're going to be looking for choke points. And those catapults with their burning oil and the Eridar Warlocks with their firestorm, that is your zoning. Teal has excellent zoning capabilities. He has the Burning Blade Master's Whirlwind, he has Stasis Traps, he has the Eridar Warlocks... I just said it. Rain of Fire. You have Warlock's Firebolt, which can put a lot of pressure on a single hero very quickly and cause them to retreat. If you're not spamming Firebolt on those heroes when they come in, you're kind of just wasting mana. Because honestly, most of my units had mana, enough mana to keep doing stuff before they died. So there's no reason not to be casting it. Trust me, if you're not, they're going to die. And if they live long enough to not have enough mana, that's a good problem to have. That's step 1 on our 12-step program, not sucking. As the late game progressed, I found that the hero squad became much more effective in general than units, or really producing armies, you know, when you want to go do stuff. It's really just keep your hero group together, the things, you know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 group that you need, and then keep that little batch of, let's call it the yeast, you know, that starter yeast, or that, what is, how do they do sour bread? Sourdough, where they have like the little starter. That's your little starter. You bring about 12 grunts with you in addition to whatever crap you have, and that just starts and seeds your new base, and then you just reinforce from wherever you've teleported to, and that's how you play Teal, and you seriously hero in the crap out of people. Now we're gonna go talk about the units, the masteries. Again, I didn't get to try a couple of them. We'll talk about masteries I did. The first one is the Spell Power Mastery, which we discussed. Just benefits your Warlocks and your Necrolytes. I really liked it. The other one is Trolls, which gives them critical strike and some extra hit points and another spell. and they're like heavy armor, and they're just, your trolls are better, which is cool because it's a pretty cheap unit in early game, but it's really easy to counter. I guess you could probably do some neat stuff. It would take some effort, which again is why I didn't use it. The next two, of those two, I decided to use the one, generally actually, I chose the Shattered Hand one, which changed my demis into more of a melee tank unit with slow attack, but it could pound and slow attack speed, and it had a lifesteal effect on it, and it had like a lot of damage reduction. So it just kind of gives you a good frontline tank survivable thing, and I think that that's anticipating the next two choices, which are your healing choices. It's, well, how do you want to heal? And I'm of two minds here, because Eredar Warlocks are very effective, and I really enjoyed going for Zulahead, who is a hero that allows you to regenerate mana, chain heal, mass, bloodlust again, and then summon these crazy chaos AoE damage flying units, which I'm a fan of those guys. They can do some with those catapults with them. Oh man, and the whirlwinds and the rains of, I'm telling you, zoning, man, it's crazy how much they can zone. But the other one is an ogre, which gives you a hero that is an ogre, but he's kind of a tank of tanks of tanks. Like, if him, Mag, and Kargath were to all get to very high level, I don't know how you kill them, because he has an ability that turns up his health regeneration by 800%. And then there's another guy that increases nearby units' health regeneration by 50%. And then there's the ogres, which your Eredar Warlocks get wiped out. And again, we're going to talk about these and show them all in more depth in a minute. But your Eredar Warlocks get wiped out and replaced with the ogres. So these ogres can do several abilities. But the one that I want to talk about is this mass heal that they have, where they do 40 damage to themselves, but heal 120 damage to everyone surrounding them. And you can have 6 of them, which means they're going to heal themselves, which also means that is... are you guys just adding the math up on that? 6 times 120? Every 3 seconds when it ticks down, and they just heal themselves. Plus you can get the 50% healing, plus the whatever bonuses you have for fighting. Plus there's a mastery that increases all of your units' base hit point regeneration by 3 hit points per second. There's strategies on top of strategies on top of strategies. So we'll talk about the masteries, and we'll talk about the tiers, we'll talk about the units, because guys, this race is awesome, and I had so much fun playing it, even though I got wiped. And I hope you guys will be nice in the comments. So let's end this rambling mess.
Fight if you must. It is no matter. In the end.
Every adjacent unit that's touching it even by 1 tile will take 33% less damage from everything. I could make treasure hunting fun. That's kind of cool. Alright.